Good afternoon and welcome to Tea Roast Bed and Breakfast, where I'm cooking on behalf of Cafe de Chat Noir today. Today I'm going to be making for you some very English scones from Devon and Cornwall, depending on where you are. You can argue about whether you want to pop the cream on the bottom or the jam on the top, or the jam on the bottom or the cream on top. I'm not getting involved in the politics of this because it's far too controversial. Okay, so here's your ingredients for today. So here we are with our ingredients. So I have 500 grams of sifted bread flour, so strong white flour, but you can just use plain white flour if you don't have bread flour. I have 80 grams of sugar. I have 5 teaspoons of baking powder, 80 grams of butter, which have softened. I then have 250 millilitres of full fat milk. I have 2 eggs, which I'm going to be beating to go into the mixture. Plus I have 1 egg, which will be beaten and used for glazing the top of the scones. To serve it with, I have Bon Maman strawberry jam and Cornish clotted cream. Into my large bowl with my 500 grams of hard flour, I'm adding the 80 grams of butter. And now I'm going to kind of rub this together to turn it all into breadcrumbs. So you want to keep doing this, bringing it up, and you keep doing this until all of the butter and all of the flour are combined. So I've been rubbing the flour and the butter together, and it's all completely gone into like breadcrumbs now, as you can see. To this mixture then, we're going to add the 5 teaspoons of baking powder and the 80 grams of sugar. You want to do the same kind of thing, turn in the bowl, just kind of get it all kind of combined really well. Now that I've done this, I'm going to make a small well in the center of the dough. And into there I'm going to add my eggs and half of my milk. Using a wooden spoon, start bringing all this mixture together. The dough should be quite a soft, wet dough, but you don't want it too wet. So now I'm going to add my next lot of milk. Totally combining it in together like this. We're going to pour it all out onto our floured work surface. There we go. This, and we're going to do a method now which is called chafing. So we don't want to kind of take any of the air out of the mix. If anything, we want to put more air into it. So what we're going to do is we'll flatten it down slightly, take half of it, fold it over, and you keep doing this, turning it halfway around, flatten it out. There we go. And we're kind of making the dough, keeping it going. There you go, flatten it out, fold it over in half, turn it quarter, flatten it out, turn it over, fold it in a quarter. There you go. I got a lot of dough on my hands. You see, it's very moist dough, but don't worry about that. That's how we want it to be. I'm getting it everywhere. Flatten it over, fold it in half. Give it a turn, make sure it's not sticking. There you go. Let's get all this into there. I'm going to add a little bit more flour to that because that's quite moist. I've added some flour because it's quite moist. It can be down to lots of different factors. Different flours absorb the moisture in different kind of times. Also because it's a very warm day, so the butter would have been much more soft, and the eggs could have been larger than I would use normally. So you just kind of add a bit more flour if you need to. So again, I'm pressing down, I'm folding over, turn in, press down, fold over, turn, press down, and fold over. I'm going to do this one more time, and then that is ready, I believe, for me to roll out. Just lift it to make sure it's okay. I'm going to put some flour onto my rolling pin. And again, dust out. I'm going to roll the dough now to about 1.5 inches thick. So there you go. You don't want it too thin. You don't want it too thick. Then out of there, we're going to cut the scones. So with the cutter, press down firmly. Do not twist. Just bring it back out, okay? And you keep doing this until all of your dough has been used up. Then you're going to gently lift these scones up and pop them onto a baking sheet, ready to go in the oven. Can I get one more there? I can, just there. Okay, I'll come back to you in a moment. You can see what I've done is I've lightly put some butter onto a baking sheet, then added a piece of parchment. Then I've lifted them gently from my side onto the parchment like this, leaving a gap around each of them so that there's plenty of room for them to expand. I'm now going to take the rest of the mix, bring it back together by doing the same movement as we did before. Fold her in half, press it down, fold her in half. Don't press it down too hard. If you do this too many times, the dough can become tough, so we don't want to do it too much. So I'm just going to roll that out there. I'm hoping I can get another 5, so maybe 4 out of this dough. So there's 1, 2. I'm going to kind of leave that. The last little bit of the dough, rather than having to cut it again, I've just kind of made it into a small let's get it to the right shape. There you go. I'm just going to make it into a small one just by hand. So that'll be kind of the one for the chef. So that's that. I've got 10 scones. I'm going to pop them onto a baking sheet, and then we're going to glaze the tops. So now we've cut out all of the scones and we've got them onto a tray. Just using the beaten egg, and you want to glaze just the tops. Be careful not to do down the sides, because you don't want to stop the scones from rising. So just round the top, like this. When this is all done, I'm going to pop them into a hot oven, which is based at just over 200 degrees, and they can take between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on the size of them. So keep an eye on them after about 10 minutes, and when they're golden brown, they're ready to take out. So I'll come back to you when they are finished. Taking the scones out of the oven, and I'm now going to leave them on a cooling rack to cool down, and I've got the other 4 on another cooling rack already. So all I need to do now is get ready to serve them. But I think I really need to do with something really strong and some energeticness to work up an appetite ready to eat all these scones. I'm going to think of the best thing to do that is totally English, and to work up a little bit of an appetite, so kind of country square zumba. So we've given the scones like 20 minutes, half hour to cool down before serving them. So I'm going to serve it today with some strawberry jam, some lovely clotted cream, and my scone. So I hope you've enjoyed me cooking this for you today. They're really simple to do, they're very, very quick, and they taste absolutely delicious. So I look forward to seeing you and talking to you again soon. Bye-bye.